welcome back to another edition of the Bader Show. I'm Mark Bader. This is episode 459, and excited for today's guest. He's still alive. He's kicking it. Ben Askren. Ben, welcome to the show. How are you there? Chilling in your chair.
All right, I'm doing all right. Having a good day today. I'm feeling pretty good. I crushed my workout this morning. Went even longer and faster than I thought I would. And that was good because Saturday maybe. I don't know, one of the other days, man. Some of these days feel like I got no energy, and I wanted to do a 30-minute walk, and I was trying to get a certain distance. I died. I couldn't do it. It was pathetic. So I was glad I redeemed myself this morning.
Why? Well, and I know you. I've talked to you a little bit. You know, you're like, when I do a lot the day before, it kills. The next day, I'm trash. I don't feel good. So, what was yesterday like? The reason that you feel good? And the same question about a few days ago when you felt like crap. Did you work a lot the day before?
Now I'm getting like usually like 2 or 3 good days and then a bad day.
Okay.
That's kind of like the rhythm I'm going into. So yesterday was actually really good. I did a lot of things. Today's been really good so far. So hopefully we keep it rolling. Saturday was terrible. Sunday was media bad. So yeah, I'm usually getting like three-ish good days for a bad day. Now it's kind of like how it's working out.
So the gaps, they're getting more good days in between. That's great.
Yeah.
Last thing, what was your workout this morning?
I walked for 30 minutes. But I kept turning the speed up, and like listen, I'm embarrassing myself right now. But the other day, I wanted to get to 3 miles an hour, and I couldn't get there. I was dying. I was gassing out so hard, so I had to go back down to like 2.7 or 2.6. And today, I got all the way to 3.6. So like that was way better, and I did 33 minutes. So, yeah, I'm don't think I'm all that far. I've jogged like very short distances, but I don't think I'm that far away from being able to do a consistent jog. So that's exciting.
What jog?
Like a consistent jog for like I've
Consistent.
jogged like maybe 100 feet or 200 feet or something, but like where I could jog for say 15 minutes, like I haven't done anything even close to that. So hopefully that's coming up sometime soon.
Okay. Well, obviously, seems like you're progressing well, and we hope this continues. So, best of luck to
And there's
you.
only I think that the count is, I think, 36 more days until I could pin Mark Bader.
Come on.
Yeah.
36 days, you think you can pin me?
Like right now, I don't think I could, but give me 36 more days, you're going to get pinned.
Come on. Does this hurt? No, honestly, like if you now I'm curious. Like I know you have. Is this scar physical? If you touch it or rub it, does it hurt? Or I'm thinking if it's
Yeah, I was actually, so Ozzy threw something at me 2 days ago, and then one of my friends kind of like hit me in the chest the other day. And I can't even describe it. It's this really weird, like pressure feeling. Like I wouldn't describe it as pain. I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. It's a really like really strange feeling, but a lot of it is still numb, and then there's a lot of like tension there still. So um, I wouldn't say pain is the right answer. But no, if I wrestled, I think I would. It would be terrible. I would never do that at this point.
but in 36 days.
Never. So like, yeah. I mean, realistically, I mean, maybe if it was life or death, I could pin you in 36
Yeah,
days.
yeah, of course.
But probably more like 6 months.
Yeah, I don't think you can pin me right now. Or in 36 days, 6 months.
Remember when we did that cradle? Remember that cradle challenge? And I
Yeah,
pinned
you were strong and healthy. Also, there was a cheat. There was a false start, and then we went again.
Allegedly.
The second time you got me. First time I had your arm clamped. I had you on lock. You weren't going to get it.
You did.
Anyways. Okay. Oh, so you just finished a private lesson, right? You're in your garage. You coach from a chair. I saw you the other, like, I don't know. Yeah. How do you coach from a chair? And I'm sure you've gotten better over the last month. Like, what is the key for you?
Yeah, I'm getting way better, and so like I can do movements. So, like if for some reason they're not getting something, like I can put myself on the mat and kind of like do the movement necessary to kind of show them what they should be doing. Um, and the other thing is, the better the person I'm coaching, the easier it is. So, like, if Evan and Parker come over, they're so good. I say something and intuitively they know what I'm talking about, and they can do it like the next rep, right? Whereas the younger kids, they're not quite as good yet. And so it could take like, it's actually challenging my ability to describe things to get them to do what I want, right? So it's like, with Evan or Parker, I'm like, hey, just do this. And they kind of like, they know, right? They're super smart. They're very good at wrestling. With the younger kids, it's like, hey, do this. And it's like, and then I got to think of like more ways to describe what I want them to do.
Building your vocabulary or when to use it and how to apply it.
100%.
Fantastic. Okay. I know one thing we wanted to talk about was not just the success of AWA, which is glaringly obvious, but how you got there, what the steps were behind it, and maybe things that other, clubs and coaches can kind of take from this.
Sure. Well, I mean, you were going to visit me last week, and then you tried killing me. You're like probably a double secret agent.
I did visit, and I was like the smallest tickle in the back of my throat, and I was like, I'm not going to get Ben sick. I saw you in the kitchen for a second and said hi and bye.
So we were going to talk about that because, one of the things I'm really passionate about is growing wrestling as a whole. So whether that's, me helping Real American Freestyle grow, because I really think we need a professional league. I've thought that for many years. Helping P&L try to get off the ground because I think we need a tournament. I could get into that. I won't get into why I think we need that. But obviously we've built our club in a little different model. And it's funny because I'm actually having some people now who were kind of with us for a while and they're going to other places and they're seeing how difficult wrestling people can be. Wrestling people always want things their own way and they want it to be really hard and really tough. And I always say, like, one of our secrets to success is that we get kids to enjoy it. And that, honestly, like for the younger kids, that's kind of like our main goal or main focus. And then, these other knuckleheads say, oh, they're so soft on the kids. They're not good when they're 11 or 12. It's like, yeah, but who's doing what we're doing at the NCAA level? Like, I'm sure maybe there's one or two. There's not a lot. You can't count them on your hand, right? Not more than 5. So that's kind of our main thing. And so and especially if some of these people are trying to run businesses, right? We are running a business. The more kids that want to be there, the better it is for our business. So you're almost disincentivized to try to run them off or grind them. Yet a lot of these wrestling businesses still do that. And I know it's because they're feeling pressure from the parents because the parents think, oh, this 8-year-old's got to win. They need to cut some weight and they need to grind really hard. It's like, number one, I actually genuinely believe that's counterproductive for the long run. And number two, it's absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, counterproductive to running your business and keeping kids in the door. And how can I have any influence on them? They're not in my room, right? So if what we say is we want to have influence on kids, we want them to learn the skills and the values that wrestling provides, how are they going to learn them if they're not in the room? Impossible.
Mm-hmm.
So I could go on that topic for about an hour. I'll save you though.
Well, just give me like a couple examples of what you do to make it fun. Because I wholeheartedly agree. I know your guys' philosophy, and I think it's, fall in love with it, and then we'll worry about it getting good. But what things do you do to make them love it?
Yeah, well, and honestly, I can't prove this. I actually think if you watch most young boys, little kids, before they're really taught anything, they just naturally wrestle with each other. Mark, you got like 74 nieces and nephews. If you go to a holiday party and there's kids between the ages of, we'll say 3 and 8, they're probably wrestling each other in some way, shape, or form. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah.
It's natural. And so I actually think it's natural for kids to like and enjoy wrestling. And sometimes it's the coaching of the parents that make it unenjoyable, right? They're the ones that push the kids over the edge to quit. So it's like, hey, let's cut a lot of weight. So, for example, we don't encourage any of our kids to cut weight at a young age. Now, listen, they don't all listen to us, but that's what we encourage. And a lot of the better ones, they do follow the protocol and they don't cut a lot of weight. And so, if that's a big one, like Mark, you cut weight, you were cutting a lot of weight in college, actually. It sucks. It sucks when you're an adult, and it surely sucks when you're a kid. So, like, that's just a huge one right there. It's like, you can make this more enjoyable having the kids not cut weight. It's that easy. Yes, will they experience a little bit less success? Of course, but I thought we wanted to let them have adversity. I thought we wanted them to have a challenge. I didn't think we wanted to let them have it as easy as possible by getting them down to a ridiculously low weight class just so they're bigger than everybody.
But it's not easy. The hard part, I cut the weight. That's hard. You might hear these things, right? Do you hear these things?
That would be like, what'd you say?
I feel like these are things you might hear. I don't believe it, but I'm rebutting you.
Yeah, sure. I would ignore them because they just haven't thought too deeply about it. Another one would be we don't overcompete, right? So I discourage our 5 through 7 year olds from competing. 8, 9, I want them doing a few local tournaments. But who did I just see? I just saw someone that had like a 6 year old nationals, and I was like, oh my god, like why do we possibly need a national tournament at 6 years old? It's freaking preposterous.
Yeah.
But so 8, 9, we have them start competing a little bit, and then, um, fifth, sixth, it's a little more serious. Like we want them to get more matches, but it's still pretty rare that we take them anywhere nationally. And then seventh, eighth grade is kind of when we start turning it up, specifically eighth grade, because a lot of them will be, Fargo eligible. But if you look at our history, I mean, I could actually go tell you because I was just working on a project with it yesterday. We have almost no eighth graders that are successful nationally. Like when Kellen Wolbert did it, it was like, shit, where'd that come from? Like I wasn't expecting that to happen when he won Fargo as an eighth grader. We have way more kids who have success at the junior level than the cadet level. We have way more kids who have success at the U20 level versus the U17 level, right? Because our kids aren't reaching those higher levels at a younger age. They're reaching those higher levels at a later age when they're choosing to do the work.
Okay, so make them love it. Don't compete less as you're younger and scale it up. Don't cut weight. Those are 3 good ones.
Yeah.
What else?
Yeah. So I mean, like, listen, if you listen to those 3 like kind of tenets, you're gonna have a lot more kids stick around. Just point blank. Like there will be more kids in your room. And if you believe in your ability to coach wrestling, a decent chunk of those kids they're gonna love it. And now it sucks because I'm only seeing probably at most I'm seeing my guys like 1 day a week, but there's a lot of kids I'm not seeing at all. But say like go back 6 months, maybe go forward 6 months. Like I'm seeing these kids are on their own will coming in 5 or 6 days a week. I mean, and Aiden Sinclair is like, come in again? Can I come? Like he literally wanted to be there 7 days a week. Mitchell wanted, he wanted to be there all the time. Funny story with Mitchell is like, he would feel guilty if he wasn't training 7 days a week. And I would consistently tell him like, hey man, if you have one of those days, just take it off. Like, don't come in. I don't want you feeling like that and having to train like that. Take a day off. It's not a big deal. You work your ass off. And then, man, then he went to Penn State, and then he came back and he's like, I don't wrestle on Wednesdays or Sundays. I'm like, I've been freaking trying to tell you that for 2 years, dude. Like, come on. So, like so if you can use those 3 tenets, you're gonna keep a lot more kids around. And if you can keep a lot more kids around, you're gonna find a handful of them that really, really love it and they really want to be good at it. And then you just gotta, it's kind of easy. You don't gotta motivate them or yell at them. You just like coach them in wrestling because they want to do all the things that is going to be necessary to be really successful.
Well, you bring up Penn State too, and that example you just said, and we've heard the word fun over the years, right? A lot.
Yeah.
We have fun, but I really do believe that the Kale, whoever the program, the philosophy is similar to y'all's. Is like they're having fun, and I've been around the program a little bit, and the guys they come to the room, and it's like it's not just a place to grind and work out. It's like a place they feel good, and they play dodgeball, and they play grab ass, right? And they're like and I feel like they've turned the wrestling room into a place that kids want to be.
Actually want to be.
Yeah.
Actually want to be.
A lot of times you dread it because it's hard, and it's only hard.
Yeah, and then I got roasted a few years back on FRL. I said something like, Gable did us a disservice, and it's not really him.
Yeah.
And this is why I wish Kale would talk more about his structure and his plan and how he treats it. Gable obviously made those guys work extremely hard, but those guys were men. They were adults, right? An adult can handle a different workload than an 8-year-old can. It's not even close, right? So where the Gable thing kind of hurt a little bit is every freaking dad and a blue collar dad in America said, well, they're doing this. Why don't you do this? Mm-hmm. Right. But it's like, man, I can even, what's funny? I can even remember some workouts I did with Coach Mesenbrink when I was like a freshman or sophomore in high school. So I wasn't young, right? As freshman or sophomore in high school, where my body literally it couldn't handle it. Like maybe I would get through the workout, but the next day I would feel like, I had quicksand. I was in quicksand. Mm-hmm. And, then it's like and actually even into my college freshman year, and who helped me a lot was Coach Horton made me do a bunch of like circuit lifts. And then I think I was getting a lot more testosterone at that point too. But it was like my body was just able to handle a lot more than it was even probably 1 or 2 years previous to that. And so it's like as these kids, and I mean that's the other thing, right, to go along with this theme is like as these kids grow into men, right? So not 18, but 14, 15, 16, 17, their bodies can start handling it a lot more and they're smarter so they can pick things up a lot quicker. So once they want to be in there and they want to learn the things and they're willing to work and their bodies can handle that workload, all of a sudden it's like you can just go rapid fire and get them really good really fast.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to stick on
Wait,
AW.
can I just say one more
Yeah,
thing?
of course, man.
Then
Go for it.
we can. Okay, so I mean, that's just like something I feel passionate about is growing wrestling. So I really feel like it's really, really, really hard because if you do it the way we do it, I was laughing at it with Amy the other day in 2020. So 2020, we'd been open for 9 years and we had a bunch of champions. Now we hadn't had the NCAA level success. That would have been like that would have actually been 2 months later, something like February 2020, right? And Keegan, oh, sorry, 1 year later,
Yeah.
Keegan and Parker, they had success the following year at the NCAA level. But we had a bunch of Fargo champs, who's number one, all those type of people, and we were moving into a new area, and a bunch of people like they don't go hard enough. We don't want to go there. It's like that's what wrestling dads think, and it's totally counterproductive and it's totally insane. So if you're a wrestling coach out there and you want to implement this philosophy, you're gonna have to stick to your guns because there's gonna be a bunch of knucklehead dads that say we just want to go harder. This isn't hard enough. We need to go harder. It's like, yeah, but like you're not a wrestling coaching expert. Like matter of fact, you've never really coached anyone to a high level. So why should I listen to your advice? I don't think I should. So if wrestling coaches, if you can stand up to the parents, you can create a much better experience for the athletes. And if we can do that for more athletes at all these different places in America, then all of a sudden the sport grows because less kids are quitting, more kids are sticking around. It's really, really a positive outcome for wrestling in America.
So your point is that maybe that you made on FRL, however long ago, was not that what Gable did was wrong, but that the implementation of it across the country,
Yes,
across age levels, is like not done properly.
correct. And yeah, it's because I actually think, like, if you ask me, I think he was probably, I think the name of Kale, even though I'm not with them, so I never really observed them, but they're probably like a genius of reading people. Right? So when Kale sees some kid come off a loss, he knows exactly what the kid needs to hear. If the kid had a tough practice, Gable knows exactly what that kid needs to hear. And maybe sometimes it's, hey, get your shit together. And maybe sometimes it's, hey man, it's all right. Like we all have days like this. Um, and I think they were probably a genius in that respect. And most parents or small-time coaches maybe aren't at that same level as a Kale or a Gable in filling out the emotional needs of the kids and delivering the right message at the right time.
How do you? I'm not asking you to compare yourself in those terms to Gable or
Yeah.
Kale, but compare that aspect of you to when you first started coaching. Today, your ability to read kids versus 10, 12, however, 13 years ago,
Yeah.
something, 15.
Yeah. I don't I think I actually started coaching. I started helping kids when I was in high school. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe not like officially coaching, but it was coaching. And all through college, I really loved doing camps, so I did a lot of coaching there. And then, um, I kind of took some of the younger guys under my wing at Mizzou, and then I saw that caption said "still alive." That was funny.
Thank you.
Um, and then I coached 4 years at college with two at Mizzou and 2 years on state. So by the time I started AWA, I actually feel like I kind of had a lot of coaching under my belt. Maybe almost like a decade's worth, we'll
Mm-hmm.
say. Um, so I don't actually feel. I mean, you know what I would say? The one thing I feel like I messed up in the beginning of AWA, and it was just because of where I had been previously, was there's a different way an adult should talk to a kid versus another adult, right? So previously I'd only been in like college rooms. So it
Mm,
was like a peer talking to a peer for we'll say the last 9 years of my life.
yeah,
And so like you can say something kind of like sarcastically and like, yeah, I mean, I'm sarcastic with you all the time, Mark, right?
yeah.
And you know how to take it. Versus if I said the same thing to a kid who I don't have a really close relationship with, they might take it a completely different way. Even though I meant, haha, I'm just teasing you a little bit. Like they're like, oh my God, coach doesn't like me. He said this to me. Um, so that would be a big one that I had to change. And then the second one, which is right along that lines, is um, this is funny because say like a Keegan. I started coaching Keegan when he was 10.
Mm-hmm.
I think my wife still thinks he's 10 sometimes, right? But it's like you talk to a 10-year-old one way. And listen, in my mind, he could always be a 10-year-old. Like I remember that 10-year-old very vividly.
Yeah.
But if you talk to him as a 17-year-old, like you talk to him as a 10-year-old, he's going to be super annoyed by that. Right? So, like, you need to evolve the way you communicate. And so, as they become men, you need to communicate with them as men, right? You can't talk to them like they're a little kid anymore. They will really, really, really resent that. Um, so, I think that was probably two things I didn't do all that well early on. Um, yeah, I think that's probably a solid answer.
Sure. Yeah, I understand that. Understanding sarcasm and where to,
Yeah.
understand
That
it
was a
when.
tough one because I
What's that?
love being sarcastic. That
Yeah.
was a tough one because I love being sarcastic.
Yeah, me too. I told a few people some of the things I said to you and Amy at the hospital, and they're like, "You said what?" I'm like, he gets it. Yeah. If you didn't know the context, it's super insulting, but I knew he'd
And
laugh.
if I could tell people all the freaking funny, sarcastic pranks you did, you might get fired from Flow.
I would get just completely canceled. Done.
All
Okay. Well,
right.
maybe
Hey, can
one.
we talk about Raph? Because I got to go soon. We can.
Sinclair Ferrari, go.
I'm so excited. I actually just watched a whole bunch of Ferrari matches when I was walking this morning. So, Aiden, in my opinion, is I don't want to say he's a genius, and maybe he is because he's very, very obsessive and studies things consistently. And he kind of told me what he thought he should do a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago. And when I watched the film, because like if I'm not watching to coach against someone, I just kind of watch matches and I just kind of enjoy them, and I don't make like a bunch of small notes, right? I'll get a general idea of how someone wrestles, but if I really want to like coach against them or try to figure out how to beat that person, it's like okay, I need to watch some of the smaller things. And so the conclusion I came to this morning was the same conclusion he told me a few weeks ago. So I sent him some notes, but I think he's on top of it.
His heads are in the same spot. Came up with the
Yes.
same game plan independently.
Yep, 100%.
Okay, what's the game plan? I'm just kidding.
Ha.
Okay.
You know what it is? To that point, a lot of times I will say the game plan against people, but Ferrari is very good, and no one really figured it out yet. Because even if you look at the matches, um, he lost last year. Was it on the Strachey one, or did he? Yeah, because he didn't wrestle McAnally. So he lost the Strachey match, had a very close match with Plot. Um, but even those guys weren't really able to get to him
Mm-hmm.
all that well, right? He's got the really good kind of like, I would say the lockdown defense, but that's kind of what it is. So people really, really, really struggle to find a path of attack. So, like him and Aiden and I came up with the same idea of path to attack, but you still got to go out there and implement and execute. And you ideally don't want the person to know where your path of attack is coming from.
Of course. I didn't really think you were going to give us the game plan. Okay, yeah, you want to talk about Real American Freestyle
Yeah, it's like we have
coming up?
another show this Friday.
Yep.
It's exciting.
Saturday, right?
Um,
Is it
oh
Friday?
shoot, 25th.
It's
That
25th,
is
Saturday.
yes, correct.
It's all right.
My bad. Okay, Saturday. You know what? Unfortunately we had the main event fallout, which was Kyle Snyder versus Mason Paris. That was gonna be freaking awesome. So I'm
Yeah.
really, 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 really hoping we can sorry,
Easy.
kind of redo that one down the road.
Yeah.
But there's a bunch of really fun matchups. So Makov and Dake, that's gonna be a lot of fun. Um, we got Saul Kazanov coming to wrestle James Green, and then, you know, well, a few of these foreign guys we're going to get a bunch of matches out of, which is a lot of fun because that's something with the previous tries of professional leagues we haven't got um, a lot of foreign guys to wrestle, and that makes it a lot of fun. I think the Varner versus Downey is going to be fun. I do think Varner is a favorite. I know he hasn't wrestled in what's like a decade.
It's been a minute.
I mean, it's been a really long time.
He wrestled 2014 Worlds. Did he wrestle after that?
I think he lost. So I want to say he lost to Snyder in both
2015.
15 and 16. Both those were in Madison. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, I remember 15. Maybe it was 16 as well.
Yeah, but even though he hasn't wrestled in a decade, man, he's still got to be a really formidable athlete. He's in the Penn State room every
Yeah, I
day.
was
Like,
just gonna say.
I don't know. He's had to lose a little bit since 10 years ago, but I'm not guessing that it's that much. I bet he's still really, really good at wrestling.
Yeah.
What do you think, Mark?
As is,
Safe
I
bet?
agree. I think Varn is going to be a good wrestler for as long as he's in the Penn State. And well beyond that, forever. He'll be a really good wrestler. Obviously,
Yes.
age catches up at some point, but he's only to your age. He's younger than you, right?
He's Max's age, I think.
Yeah,
So
he's
I'm
38 or
41, so
something.
Max
Or
is
37.
39. So he's 39 probably.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Fun one. It'd be a super fun one.
And then we just announced Chicago on November 29th. So we start putting these cards together where we're going to try to go every month, and we're going to try to make some really awesome matchups and tell some really awesome stories. So I have been an advocate of creating a professional wrestling league in America. For I don't know, I tried with Ed, maybe two. Remember when you had to shave your head because you bet against me? You
I
dummy,
do.
Mark.
I do. I thought.
That was a great moment in history.
Thanks, Quentin.
Quentin Wright let you down.
That's all right.
Um,
Fun event.
and then obviously we tried with Full Premier League. I want to say that was
14-ish.
2014, maybe
Yeah.
somewhere in there. So
14, 15.
you know, and there's been other people who have tried. It's been like a hurdle that no one has been able to clear yet. And so, you know, Real American Freestyle is doing a whole bunch of things right. So hopefully we get the community support to try to get over that hump.
Yeah, we'll definitely need the support from the community and probably outside the community, right? We want to bring new fans in and you know create new wrestling fans and grow the sport.
Yeah, you know, so that's where it's like my whole thing is grow wrestling. So it's like if we can give kids a better experience, we keep more kids wrestling, right? And then if a kid's having a good time at wrestling, they say, "Hey, little Johnny, I'm having a great time at wrestling. Why don't you come to wrestling too?" Right? That's what kids do. So we build the number of wrestlers. Then with the P&L, and I don't want to say we've been successful because I don't know that we have been yet. But the idea was to build a more enjoyable tournament structure because when some of these tournaments are having people there for 12, 13 hours a day, like that freaking sucks.
Yeah.
That is not an enjoyable experience. So if we had a better tournament experience, then again, more people would stick with it. But yeah, our first year parent goes to a tournament, they're there for 13 hours. I mean, I go to my kids' flag football game and it's 1 hour. I'm there and then I'm back, or a soccer game, it's an hour. And so it's
Yeah.
like for these younger kids who are in these 12 or 13-hour days, man, if their parents ain't committed, they're saying, hey, hey, little Johnny, you might need to find another sport because I ain't trying to spend 13 hours on a Saturday in a gym.
Yeah.
So, right, if we can build better tournament experience, again, more kids continue to wrestle and stay wrestling. If we can build a professional league, then kids have something more to aspire to be besides a college wrestler, which is, I think it's great. But, you know, like my son is, you know, it's so funny because Mitchell wrestled Caliendo. He always brings up Michael Caliendo because Mitchell wrestled him all the
Who
time last
Ozzy
year. But
does? Your son?
Ozzy does. Yeah, yeah. But he knows like every baseball and football player because they're on TV doing professional stuff all the time.
Yeah.
So if we can have a professional league where kids can aspire to,
Yeah.
right, and then we can keep more adults wrestling because you know they don't have to get jobs because they can actually make some money doing wrestling. Like so, I think all those things build up the wrestling infrastructure and make it better.
Think there's ever a day when there's like wrestling schools like there's jujitsu schools? Not like for any
That would
age?
be, I mean, one of the things I bring up to Max because we now have 7 wrestling academies in Wisconsin and we're doing 2 more next spring. But one of the things I bring up to my brother sometimes because when we open the second one, we open up in Heartland and then we open in Mech one. Max and John, they're 42 minutes apart, I think. Max and John both said this, that there's it's too close. There's not enough wrestlers. And I said, if you build it, they'll come. I bring up to Max sometimes. Every freaking small town in Wisconsin has a dance studio. I mean,
Mm.
in Heartland right here, Heartland is a town of, I don't know, 7,000 people. I think there's 3 dance studios.
My kids are in dance.
Like,
Yes, my kids are in dance, and it's not the first studio they've been to in the area.
there's so many. So it's like, well, wait, dancing, there's no dancing in college. There's no professional league of dancing. I guess you could maybe be a dancer.
Yeah, I'm sure that just like that, you can
Oh,
be a professional wrestler. You can wrestle and
sure,
make
sure.
money, but
Yeah. But so, you know, it's like, well, if they can have 3 dance studios in every small town in Wisconsin, you know, I don't say we're going to get a wrestling academy in every single town, but like, surely there's more of a demand than we're realizing there is. So yeah, I mean, it's like we have, I think, by my calculations, roughly 1 million wrestlers in America, from ages K through 12. Like, why can't there be two? Right? And how would that possibly impact everything in wrestling if there was twice as many wrestlers? I mean, that does freaking amazing things because there's bigger companies be doing bigger sponsorships, which is more advertising. Flow's getting bigger events, which means they're spending money, and it just kind of it's a really positive feedback loop where everything is getting better because of it.
You're building the economy within wrestling more so. You're doubling
Yes.
you're doubling. Yeah, let's do it. The dance thing, man, that hits home. I'm like, oh my god,
It is. That's
all these little
max
girls.
like
10 o'clock, noon, 1, like all weekend.
it's nuts. Yeah,
Dance, tap,
gymnastics.
cheer.
Gymnastics might not be every single town, but there are freaking a lot of gymnastics studios. Way more than wrestling, for sure.
Well, and I, obviously you guys, your club's really high level. But some of these things I take my kids to, like they're all gymnastics. It was like, this is not gymnastics. Even they're in a karate thing, and I'm like, this is some dude just doing this and kick it. Like, I don't know if I'm making a point here. It's just like there's
no. Yeah, to your point. I mean, I'll make the point for you. We go to the local gymnastics, and then listen. I always want to keep my wrestling academy affordable to families. I don't ever I want to like make it crazy. But I looked at what were paying for my kids in gymnastics. It was approximately double of what we're paying, what someone would pay at AWA, right? So it's like when someone says they're too expensive, I'm like, that gymnastics place is double, and my kids aren't getting near as much value. And you know what? Their coach never did gymnastics, and one of their other coaches is a high school kid. So it's like,
these are the
at the very least, someone instructing our class, at the very least, someone instructing our classes is going to be a college wrestler.
Amazing.
Like, yeah, I mean, maybe with our 5-year-olds, we have a 3-time state champion, a 2-time state champion, and a state placer. So, it's like really successful kids are coaching the 5-year-olds. Actually, really funny, quick story, and then I'll be done. I was laughing about this one. We do let our high school kids coach our real young classes, and one of the parents said, "Hey, you do realize when my kids started at AWA, I think he was like 5 or 6. His coaches were Keegan O'Toole and Mitchell Mesenbrink." I thought, whoa, like how funny is that? That they're 2 high school kids, but they both ended up being NCAA champions, and those were your coaches when they're 5 and 6.
Pretty freaking awesome.
So yeah, so wrestling, we can grow, we can get bigger, we can do this. I think there's a very specific pathway, and I think we have at AWA, we've now proven that there's a method to the madness. And I think we've proven that if you want to admit that we're really good, you could at least admit that we're really big. I think we have, we're probably the biggest club in America at this point. So we are getting a lot of kids to really, really, really enjoy the sport of wrestling, want to be there more often. And then because they want to be there more often, a lot of them are getting pretty good at wrestling.
And I'll say this, I don't know if it was 1, 2, or 3 Christmases ago, or I just remember being up, maybe we were shooting with some with Keegan. It was Christmas break, and like 50,
that was with Keegan. I remember that.
Like 40, 50 college wrestlers showed up that all used to wrestle at your academy. I just thought, wow, this is amazing.
That was so much fun.
Yeah. Last thing, and I don't want to end it on a downer, but I do want to give you the opportunity. Duke Rufus, your MMA coach, passed away. I just, that sucks. I've met him. Past, but what he meant to you, or anything you want to kind of say about Duke.
Yeah, I kind of brought up this morning, probably the biggest, sorry, I keep messing with my camera. The biggest thing that I thought, he was really great at was making new people feel welcome. So like anyone that came into the gym, he would greet them and welcome them on the team, welcome into practice, obviously get them at the appropriate skill level. But he was just so good at making people kind of feel at home and feel welcome. I thought that was a really awesome thing. And then, not to get on my soapbox again, because I feel like I've been on the soapbox about growing wrestling for a while here, is I feel like there's so many younger people who are kind of like, I don't know, maybe struggling in life. And I actually think the antidote to that is get out and help somebody. Like, stop thinking about yourself, go help somebody else. And that's kind of like, Duke was really great at that, obviously. Like an Anthony or a Sergio, where he had them since they were children, like they can speak to the impact on they speak to his impact on their lives. or someone like Tyron Woodley, our former teammate in college, like he came to Duke way later in his life, and Duke was able to help guide him to some UFC world titles, and so he was just so welcoming, treated people so well, and was so willing to just help, right? And it was like he did love to talk, but if you ever want to stay after practice, ask him questions, he probably would talk to you till like 6 o'clock. We'd practice in the middle of the day. Like he would literally just stand there. If you wanted said, "Hey, what about this combo? What about that combo?" He would just stay with you as long as you wanted.
Awesome. Well, that's great, Ben. Don't think you ever need to come down off that soapbox. Anytime you want to, ring the bells about growing wrestling, be as loud as you want. But yeah, appreciate you coming on, talking through the success of AWA a little bit, giving us a little bit of national duels, whatnot, and some RAF.
National duels. That is going to be fun. RAF's going to be fun. Listen, there's a lot of people trying to get wrestling bigger at this point, and there's a lot of people that enjoy it. So I think we're in a really good spot.
Let's see that you wrestled in the national duels, and was it 07? Right? Because I'm wondering, like, I haven't seen I haven't like broken down the brackets, but I wonder if it ever makes sense for somebody to, some fantastic match that's one way apart to present itself and see if it happens. So.
Oh, because I bumped up. Yeah.
You wrestled Kish, right?
Yeah. I created enough with the lineup switching around. Like, I feel like it's pretty rarely done, and especially now with the 5-match thing for freshmen.
Yeah.
Right? Like that even gives you a lot more flexibility to move people around. And I really think like a Keegan O'Toole or any of these really elite guys, like they can definitely bump up a weight class or two and beat people.
I don't think Keegan has any eligibility left, Ben. I hate to break it to you.
He was the first one that came to mind. Mitchell could bump up and beat someone. I don't know what you mean.
There you go. Yeah.
Bunch of people could.
All right, Ben.
All right.
Appreciate it. Have a good one. Thanks for coming. We'll see you later. All right, folks, that'll do it. Mr. Ben Askren, still live. We're happy about that, and pumped to talk about wrestling as always. So that's going to do it for today's show. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks.